So I was more the business brain, the visionary, the mouthpiece of what was going on, with the group. So I was the one that, reached out to people and got us in the magazines and got us on this and got us on that. That was pretty much my thing, my lane. So, we started recording tapes in the crib, and, we shot all of the tapes out to different labels back then. And, P was the one that responded, and he flew us out to Oakland. We actually recorded a whole album on No Limit called 100% Game. Then we did the song R.I.P. with P and Silk. And, that was a great experience. We were young, man. We were like 17. I might have just turned 18. In 95, because I graduated in 94. I was 17, so I was about 18. We were young, man. We had no reference point of industry, of music. We was just figuring out. It wasn't the internet. We didn't have nobody to coach us or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So, that's how that transpired.
Well, hey, I want to thank you for your contributions, because I know y'all put out two albums, and then you put out 3 solo independent albums at the time. So, which was Pulling Rank and Thug Diary. There's a Diary of a Thug, or Thug Diary.
Thug's Diary.
And then Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, then Kansas City Chief. And then I put out Still Here, which was a movie soundtrack in 2005.
Yeah. Now, was Still Here and Young American Gangster, was that kind of like, that supposed to be that movie?
Yeah, dog. So this is when you were young trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, when I did this soundtrack to the movie, was initially called Still Here. That was what it was. The movie was called Still Here.
Okay.
But I did the soundtrack. I got it pressed up, right? And then as I'm finishing up the movie, P tells me, man, I think you should change the title. So he gave me an explanation of why he thought I should change the title, which I did. And not understanding the connection of branding or different things like that, I just said, okay, still here, but I really need this movie to go, So what I end up doing is doing the movie, and I just changed the title. P told me I think you should call it Young American Gangsters. And his rationale to that was, at the time, I believe American Gangster may have come out and was big. And he was like, because this is before streaming. So this was contingent upon me having DVDs. So he was like, if you have a similar title to something that's popping, they're going to put you in the same section. So it was kind of a strategy of product placement. You know what I mean? So I just went with what he said, even though I had already had these CDs pressed up of Still Here. You know what I mean? So that's how that happened.
Got it. Okay, yeah, because I always wanted to know that, because I'm like, Still Here came out in 06. Well, the soundtrack came out in 06, but then the movie Young American Gangster came out like in 09, and I was like, I thought he was supposed to have a movie, but okay. All right, that was kind of like my bonus question.
This is the thing, man, and it's funny because, even with some of my favorite artists, and, sometimes you watch and you wonder why things happen. And then if you're fortunate enough to get on the inside to be like, I always wondered, like, when I had Jay Prince on the show, and I asked him, I said, Jay, now if I remember your name used to be James Smith initially. You know what I mean? I said, wasn't your name James Smith? And he said, yeah. And I said, then all of a sudden it was James Prince. And then he told me the story behind that. You know what I mean? But from the outside looking in, people still be living their lives, you know what I'm saying? And figuring out and doing what they doing. So, the thing is we just make our mistakes in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, as I'm figuring out business and figuring out learning branding, I'm figuring it out. You know what I mean? Is the sound okay for you?
Oh, yeah. No, everything fine. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and fast forward. I just wanted to touch on the hip hop base so people kind of know, like, you've been in the game for like a long time, even though you still look like you're 20. Even though you look like you're still 20. But
say it again.
I said I wanted people to know that you've been in the game for a long time, even though you still look like you're 20 years old.
Oh yeah.
Like, you still look young, bro.
Yeah. I get that all the time.
Damn. Yeah, I think the only
And the
thing we
thing is,
missing is your
thing
braids.
is, I'm almost 50. I'm almost 50. And when I tell people that, they be like, what? Like, yeah.
Dude, yeah, you look like you probably 43.
Yeah, I usually hear 30s because, you know, my oldest child, which is my co-host on my
Yeah.
podcast, you know, she's 31. You know, so a lot of times people think that we're either husband and wife, or, you know what I mean, or we're equals. And, you know, that's my daughter.
Got it. Okay. Well, shoot. What is your thoughts on the current state of hip hop?
In terms of I love the current state of hip hop, to be very honest with you. You know, I'm not one of these old heads that talk down on the youngsters or feel some kind of way. Music has to evolve in order for it to thrive, you know, and survive and grow. It has to evolve. And I look at it like a revolving door. If you think about it, when we were young, you know, like me coming up on gangster music, the guys before me, the generation before me, they thought that was bullshit. They came up on you know, R&B and love, you know, love songs and all that, or even the hip hop. When you talk about, you know, the Run DMCs and the Fat Boys and kind of this, you know, which was a novelty act, you know, their reference point is different. So when they hear all this cussing and shit, they like, what? That's bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. But to us, it was what was relevant to us. It was our story. It was our understanding, our environment. So it's the same way now, right? Me at almost 50, no, I'm not gonna relate to something that a 19, 20-year-old, you know, person is talking about, you know. But if you just love music, and you love the vibe, and you understand where they're coming from, even if they're articulating it different, then you can still vibe with it. Like, I love NBA Youngboy. I love Mo3, Kevin Gates, even though he's not a kid like that. But I like a lot of the music. I love Ride Wave. I like a lot of it. I like Black Youngster. You know what I'm saying?